Amazing. Wow. Why could I just come just pushing it?
I request all the participants, Namaskar. I request all the participants to please switch on your videos and keep yourself on mute mode. I request all the participants. Namaskar. I request all the participants. Namaskar, friends. I'm Shivani Gupta from Hello My Yoga. In the section 3, I'm so sorry. Friends, in the section 3 of Hatha Yoga Pradipika, there is a detailed explanation of Mudra and Bandha, seal and lock practices of Hatha Yoga. And in many books, this practice has a special mentioning that if this knowledge to be discussed and practiced, then should be done under the proper guidance of a qualified teacher. Friends, while following the knowledge of scriptures, we should also remember the place and time in which it was written. And therefore, it is advisable that to understand recommended teachings, one should be closely associated with a senior qualified teacher. So coming back to the primary point of this event, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika is one book that has one section on seal and locks. While on Google, this is a trending word with mentioning about this practice on hundreds and thousands of blogs and pages as a weight loss to attain siddhis and whatnot. So friends, therefore, we have got Dr. N Ganesh Rao today with us to debunk misconceptions and address doubts surrounding this practice of Hatha Yoga. Dr. N Ganesh Rao is an avid trekker in the Himalayas for past 35 years. He's an eloquent and knowledgeable guru of yoga who has spent many years studying at some of the world's leading institutions for this ancient discipline. He's the founder of Act Yoga and has conducted to date more than 23,000 sessions of yoga, centered on psychology, physiology, philosophy, spirituality, health, healing, and happiness. Dr. Rao holds prestigious positions at many organizations. He's a prolific writer, researcher, and inspiring speaker. His work includes A Matter of Perspective, The Zenith of Football, Through and Through Yoga, and Meditation in Yoga, just to name a few. So, inviting Dr. N Ganesh Rao on the screen. Namaskar, sir.
Thank you, Shivani.
Welcome you, sir,
welcome
in the session.
all the people. I see the number is 62 as of now. I welcome all of you for this 1 hour session, which has been termed by Hello My Yoga as a debunking, clearing of misconception and myths about Mudras and Bandhas. The topic is vast, comprehensive, and intense. So it is both width and depth-wise comprehensive. What we can look forward today in our session is clearing certain doubts or misconceptions that we carry regarding Mudras and Bandhas. And once we clear the ground, then 23rd and 24th of this month, we will have full-fledged 2.5 hours of workshop on Mudras and Bandhas, where we will not only go into the theoretical aspects of Mudras and Bandhas, but also go towards the practical aspects, not only from practice point of view, but also from therapy point of view. So we will confine or restrict today's sessions to clear the doubts that we have. And the doubts are more so because I have been repeating at a number of occasions that whenever a concept becomes very popular, it's natural for it to become mediocre and diluted, because then everybody wants to jump into the bandwagon of that popularity and capitalize on it, exploit it, and then it tends to become diluted. So this workshops and Mudras and Bandhas, thanks to Hello My Yoga and Shivani, is conducted to enable serious practitioners of yoga to go deeper into the authentic practices of Mudras and Bandhas. That is the purpose. Having said that, I will now hand over the mic, so-called symbolically, to Shivani, because we have received questions from the participants here, not only present here on the screen, but also who will be present on YouTube presentation, because we got a request from more than 350 participants generating interest in this subject, which was very encouraging. So we said we must make it a nice session, go into it, and also have the workshops done nicely. So with that, I will hand over to Shivani to go one by one over the questions. And then if time permits, after considering all these questions, if there are any more questions with people who are on the screen here, they can make utilization of that time of 1 hour and ask for the questions. Shivani, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for describing the program and its format as well. Not taking much of your time. And I will quickly jump into the first question. So the first question is, I've been practicing yoga for a year without incorporating mudras or bandhas. Does that mean I'm not getting benefits from my yoga routine?
The answer to this question, if it is one word, then no, your understanding is not correct. That even if you are practicing the practices of yoga without practicing mudras and bandhas, it does not mean that you will not get the benefit of other practices. Like if you are doing kriyas, if you are doing asanas, the benefit of that definitely you're going to get. Pranayam practices, you're bound to get the benefits. What we must understand is that the practices of yoga have a natural hierarchy which leads from grosser benefits to subtle benefits. And if you look at that hierarchy in the human constitution, we can look at the hierarchy as the body, the mind, and the spirit. Yeah. And in the body, you can look at the anatomy and physiology, the structure and functions. And then from there go to the mind, and from there go to the spirit part. And all three, prana plays the most important part. And prana has a say between the body and the mind, as well as the mind and the spirit there. So when we are doing the practices, depending upon what practices we are doing, we are going to get the benefits to that part of the human constitution. And if we look at progressing on the path of yoga, then naturally we have to go towards the higher practices, so that from the grosser part of my makeup as a human being, I go to the subtler part. And that is where the mudras and the bandhas come into the picture. That is where Tantra says very clearly that mudras and bandhas are higher practices as compared to asanas and pranayam. And a little bit of exaggeration which says, and that is probably why this doubt is created, that asanas and pranayam may not give you the benefits as much as they promise if they are not followed by mudras and bandhas. Yeah. But that is not the case at all. Your asanas, your kriyas, your pranayam practices definitely will fetch benefits to you. But depending upon the practices, the area of the human being which is there, mudras are straddling between the mind and the spirit there. So they are higher practices as compared to asanas and pranayam. And definitely each practitioner would like to go higher on the path of spirituality, on the path of yoga. So it's a natural ascendancy that from asanas, I must go to pranayam. From pranayam, I must go to mudras and bandhas. And particularly bandhas, when they are incorporated with pranayam practices, you will get the spiritual benefits of pranayam practices. So yes, your practice on kriyas and asanas will give you benefits. It's not that if you don't do pranayam, mudras, or bandhas, you don't get benefits. But the benefits are at a grosser level of the human constitution. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So we'll move to the next question. Can I practice mudras and bandhas even if I don't practice yoga asana?
Answer is an emphatic yes. Okay. But having said yes, okay, I have to bring out a unique feature of yoga. And that feature, if I take, for example, if I take Patanjali's Ashtanga, where there is yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. The first 5 angas are called Bhiranga Yoga. The last 3 are called Antaranga Yoga. The last 3 adding up to what we refer to as meditation in yoga. And if Antaranga is meditation in yoga, then the Bhiranga Yoga is preparation for that meditation. And if you look at the yamas, niyamas, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, okay, yamas are social in their impact. Niyamas are personal. Asanas are more inclined towards physical. Pranayam is straddling between physiological and mental. And pratyahara becomes totally mental. You are withdrawing your sense organs. Okay. So you will see a gradual progression from the social dimension to the mental dimension. You are going inwards. And that is the progress in spirituality. Now, having said that, if you are practicing pranayam very seriously, or you are regularly practicing meditation, it does not mean you are exempted from practicing yamas and niyamas. There is no moral holiday. Even if you go higher on the path of mind or intellect or spirit meditation, you cannot say, now I am a senior meditator and now I have got license to break all yamas and yamas because I've reached higher. No, that is not the case. Wherever you are, at whatever level you are, all the practices should be done. The emphasis on the practice changes. So your fitness of the body, health of the body is very much necessary even if you have to do pranayama. That is why Patanjali says Vyadhi as the first obstacle. If you have got sickness, you cannot sit for meditation. The sickness will distract your mind. So your practice of asanas and kriyas for physical health is a must there. So as you go higher, you cannot do away with the earlier aspects. And that is why we bring about a concept in yoga that we transcend the practices. We don't abandon the practices. As you move higher, you're transcending from asanas to pranayama. That does not mean you're giving up asana. You're still practicing asana, but your emphasis changes. You're giving more emphasis to pranayama. From pranayama, when you go to pratyahara or meditation, you cannot say, look, my breathing now, I'm not bothered. Whatever it is, I'm in meditative state. No, it is not possible. You cannot do meditation if the earlier angas are taken care of. So similarly, when you go towards mudras and bandhas, if you consider them as higher practices, then the earlier practices are necessary. I mean, the earlier practices become foundation on which mudras and bandhas held. By doing mudras and bandhas, you cannot get exempted from doing earlier practices. Yeah. So answer is very clear that yes, I can practice mudras and bandhas exclusively, but then I require other practices so that my health is there, and the mudras and bandhas for the purpose I am doing will do much more benefits in a healthy body. So my asana and pranayama practice are necessary. Then I add mudras and bandhas. Yeah. So answer is very clear. Can I practice bandhas and mudras? Yes, you can practice. But if you practice yoga, asanas, pranayama and then do it, then yes, the mudra practice gets the benefit of your asanas and pranayama practices. Yeah. Okay.
So I think, sir, spiritual journey is progressive journey.
Absolutely. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita, we say it is renunciation in the world, not of the world. I mean, you cannot close shop and then say, okay, I'll go to the mountains and do meditation. No, you cannot. You'll have to take care of the shop here nicely, of your body, of your situation in life, your station in life, ensure harmony is here, and then do here only meditation. Renunciation is in the world, not of the world.
Completely agree, sir. Moving to the next question. What is the importance of bandhas? Will there be any side effects if it is not applied properly?
Bandhas, we are using two terms here. Okay. Mudras and bandhas. In ancient times, in tantric scriptures, there was only mudras. So bandhas were included in the definition of mudras. But gradually, as time progressed, mudras which were done along with breathing practices started being called as bandhas. So without confusing, I can say bandhas are mudras done along with breathing. Mudras are bandhas which are done without breathing. Both are same. Bandhas are applied along with pranayama practices. Of course, if you do the 5 bandhas exclusively, they do have physical benefits, but their purpose is attained when the bandhas are applied along with pranayama practices. First part. So, can I do? Is there any, what is the importance of bandhas? Now I'm coming to the importance of bandhas. If I say bandhas are pranayama, bandhas are mudras done in pranayama practices, then pranayama practices have benefits at all the dimensions of personality. And if I may briefly say these dimensions, they are physical, physiological, mental, spiritual. Okay. Now, when you do pranayama practices, even if you don't adopt bandhas, even if you don't apply bandhas, benefits will definitely happen at the physical, physiological, and mental level. But when you apply bandhas, you start getting the spiritual benefits. Now, what is the spiritual benefits? Bandhas in pranayam are specifically meant for the Kundalini awakening and raising. And when the Kundalini starts awakening, which is one of the stated purposes of Hatha Yoga, one of the established purposes of real pranayam, to awaken the Kundalini, that awakening of the Kundalini happens only when you apply bandhas. So if you don't apply bandhas, you will get the other benefits definitely. Physical, physiological, mental benefit definitely, but spiritual benefit, the awakening of the Kundalini will not happen. Bandhas are directly going towards that effect there. Okay, so we know why bandhas are being done. Now, the second part of the question, if it is not applied properly, okay, if the bandhas are not applied properly, then one thing is very clear, you're not going to get the benefits of bandhas. Now it depends upon how much wrongly you do bandha practice to see, okay, what are the damage or destruction you can do to yourself. But that is minimum there. And this wrongly doing, and that's why I refer to what Shivani said in the beginning, that it is nice to understand these concepts and practices deeply from authentic sources, so that we are very clear what we are doing, because in Hatha Pradipika there is a sutra there which is pertaining to pranayam but applicable to all. It says pranayamena yuktena sarva roga kshaya bhavet. Very nice to hear that by doing pranayam practices all diseases can be taken care of. But the second sentence is very important, second part of the sutra, pranayamena yuktena sarva roga kshaya bhavet ayukta abhyasi yogena sarva roga samudbhava. If you do it wrongly, you can get all the diseases. If you do it correctly, all diseases can be removed. But if you do it wrongly, all diseases can come. I mean, this is a warning or a word of caution that is provided to practitioners that, okay, look, try to do it correctly, learn correctly, and do it correctly. So the part is very clear. If it is not applied properly, then what? No, side effects. In pranayam particularly, the side effects happen mainly because if you are holding your kumbhak for longer than your capacity, then the possibility of damage is there. Otherwise, you may not get the benefits. Not much damage being done there. So similarly, bandhas, if you don't do it properly, you will not get the benefits. And not only that, bandhas and mudras are very, very internal to yourself. And if you are not doing correctly, then others from outside may not be able to say in all situations whether you're doing correctly or not. So you may think you're doing it correctly and you're not getting benefits, but actually you're not doing correctly. So necessary to have conceptual clarification first and then go to the practices so that you are very sure, okay, I'm doing it correctly. Yeah. Okay.
And I think for that conceptual correction, we have on 23rd and 24th September, we have Dr. N Ganesh Rao's 5 hours intensive workshop of understanding Bandhas and Mudras, and not too far to sign up. You'll get all the details soon after this program. So jumping on the next question, question 4. If someone's chakras are blocked, then which mudra will benefit her most?
This actually is not one question. This is too many questions in one question. If someone's chakras are blocked, okay, then which mudra? So chakras are in plural and mudra is in singular. I think this is a question which requires, explanation of first, what is chakra? What do you mean by chakra being blocked? Or when you say it is blocked, it can be either two things. I'm assuming certain basic understanding of chakras for people who are listening to me. Okay, when you say chakras are blocked, okay, there are two things which can be assumed. One is the chakra is not opened at all. Okay, in which case we are talking about chakra opening means the prana passing through the Sushumna Nadi and piercing that particular chakra. If it is not done, the chakra is not opened. Okay. The second part, what we are talking about is the prana rising through one particular chakra and then it is not able to go ahead. It is blocked there. Okay. So in both cases, there is not one single mudra which can do for all the chakras. For every chakra, there are so many practices and each mudra will cater to particular chakras there. But yes, mudras are there meant for chakras, for opening up the chakras and providing the benefits which one obtains to when the particular chakra is open. So specific mudras for certain chakras are there. Yeah. Okay.
It seems like this is like an energetic circuit inside a human body.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So moving to the next question. Can I apply mudra or bandha while sitting on chair? Is it necessary to sit on the floor and then do it?
Generally speaking, mudras, the advantage of the mudras is you can apply the mudra while walking, while sitting, while sleeping, while standing. You can apply the mudras. But having said that, mudras are of number of types. If we are talking about mudras which pertain to only manipulation of the fingers of the hands, then yes, you can apply that while sitting on a chair. You can apply while lying down. You can apply while meditating. You can apply while walking. No problem at all because the hands are free. In fact, this is one of the advantages of the mudras, that they can be applied in any position whatsoever. But having said that, there are certain mudras which require you to take particular poses which will not enable to sit on the chair and do. For example, if you take yoga mudra, now yoga mudra, you have to adopt a particular padmasana or a vajrasana and then do yoga mudra. So you cannot sit on the chair and do. So depending upon which mudra you are doing, if it is mana mudras, mudras of the head, say you're talking about Brahma Mudra, Shambhavi Mudra, or Nasika Agradishti, Agochari Mudra, Bhuchari Mudra, which are all pertaining to the Hekechari Mudra. Yes, you can sit on the chair and do, no problem at all. But suppose you say, I'm doing Mahamudra, then you require to sit on the floor or a plain surface, touch the legs in front and then do. So you cannot sit on the chair and do. So depending upon which mudra we are talking about, the particular posture or particular place is necessary. Okay. Yeah.
I think that subject matters.
Yeah.
So next question is, can I practice Karn Mudra to fight anxiety, fear, and depression? It's question number 8, sir.
Question number 8. I think we missed one question there. Question number 6.
7.
Yeah. 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6th we missed it. Can I attain siddhis if I practice bandha and mudra regularly?
Can I attain siddhis if I practice bandhas and mudras regularly? Okay. I mean, a very interesting question, and this is the temptation for all of us. In the first place, I will ask, why do you want to attain siddhis? So, okay, granted that one aspires for attaining to siddhis. If I have to be textually authentic, then one of the stated purposes of mudras is the attainment of siddhis. So mudras are taking you towards the attaining of the siddhis. And in this respect, I can point out particularly Khechari mudra, which goes towards the attainment of siddhis. And when you talk about siddhis, we talk about the Ashta siddhis. So mudras are meant for, or one of the effects of the mudras is the attainment of siddhis. I'm talking textually. Okay, from a good backing from the text, that mudras are meant for absolutely perfect health and extrapolated perfect health, taking it towards the attainment of siddhis. So yes, mudras are meant towards that. Yeah.
I think I could see a lot of excitement with this answer amongst
Yeah.
our audience. So moving to the next question. Can I practice Karn Mudra to fight anxiety, fear, and depression?
I think this is a very, very pointed question. Okay. Which, in fact, this is the types of questions that we will deal in the workshop on 23rd and 24th. But in the first place, when we talk about it is Karana Mudra, okay, this Karana Mudra is coming from the Buddhist foundation. Okay, it has got a Buddhist background, Buddhist philosophical background. And for some of you who may be knowing the mudras properly, this is very similar to Apana Mudra. Among the Prana Mudra, this is very similar to Apana Mudra, where the middle finger, the ring finger, we are touching to the tip of the thumb. Okay, and two fingers, and we are keeping the hand on the chest with the palm facing either the chest or palm facing outwards. And one of the stated effects of this is to draw out anxiety, depression, all sorts of losses in life, all sorts of drowsiness, laziness. So it has got a number of benefits there. But again, I repeat that it is not one of the very popular mudras coming from Hatha Yoga. In Hatha Yoga, we refer to Apana Mudra, yeah, which is very, very similar to Karana Mudra. Okay, yeah. But such types of questions, and this will become more and more clear when we deal with the Hasta Mudras in the workshop. And I personally want to, point out one thing here, is that instead of remembering by rote what mudra will give you what effect, it is nice to understand the rationale behind that particular mudra, and then you will automatically know, okay, what effect it will bring about. So if I talk about an Apana Mudra, then I know Apana Prana is responsible for excretion, removal of waste products from the body there. So automatically when I do Apana Mudra, the excretory functions start happening properly. Okay, if there is, holding of water in the kidneys, it will start going out. So once we know the rationale of the mudra, then automatically lots of questions can be answered there. Also, when we know the rationale of, when you bring out one finger to another finger in the Hasta Mudras, which particular element in the body you are affecting, once you come to know, then it's like pranayam. If a person comes with some hypertension, restlessness, then which pranayam practice I tell depends upon, I know what pranayam practices will bring about what effect. Now I have to match that with the person who has got certain ailments there. That is my expertise, that is my experience as an experienced yoga practitioner, to mix and match what can be given to the person concerned. But there is not one-to-one matching anytime in therapy there. It is always a bundle of practices along with the lifestyle changes that is to be made. Then the benefits start coming there. Yeah, this is what we are going to deal in the workshop on 23rd and 24th. So what is the rationale and how are they affecting the health of the body? Not only the preservation, but also the promotion and also the therapeutic aspects. All three aspects we will consider.
I think, sir, with this, you also answer the question by one of the participants that my daughter, 12 years, has childhood asthma. With the help of which mudra and bandha, she can recover. I think I asked the gentleman to participate on 23rd and 24th workshop, where you'll find the answers to
also,
it.
I want to, point out something here. Because all of us are yoga enthusiasts here, yoga practitioners, yoga teachers, yoga therapists. And we have to be very clear here that what this question presumes is that there is something like a magic pill in yoga, okay, that for this ailment, this pill, okay, like for headache, I take Saridon and my headache will go. There is nothing like that in yoga, okay. Because the first thing what we must notice or we must note is that when a person comes to me with asthma, okay, I don't deal with asthma, I deal with the person first. Because the asthma belongs to the person. Asthma is not the person. In all of yoga, including mudras and bandhas, we have to deal with the person properly, and then the the problem gets automatically sorted out, because when the person is set in proper perspective, the problem gets sorted out automatically. There is nothing like one-to-one, like, okay, I have got hypertension. Okay, I've got hypertension. What should I do? I cannot say, look, do shavasana for your hypertension. No, that is not the answer, correct answer. The answer is, okay, look, you are a person. How did you get hypertension? What job are you doing? Who are the people at home? Who is giving you stress in life? What is the source of the stress there? Now, all these questions has to be considered before I prescribe a particular mudra for asthma. No, there is no question of, an easy way of, and this is the strength as well as people may consider as a weakness of yoga therapy. Strength, because when I consider all the factors there, I am trying to provide a bundle of practices, a package of practices, which will deal with the causes of the problem and not the symptoms of the problem. Dealing with the symptoms is very easy, very easy. If I am too much restless, okay, do some cooling, tranquilizing practices, do shavasana, okay, that will only cool me for 10-15 minutes. After that, what happens? My nature of restlessness, the cause of my stress still remains. No, I have to go to that cause, which involves taking care of a little bit of my lifestyle. Okay, what is it that makes me take stress in life, because of which this is what is happening? Yeah. So these questions like, one-to-one, there is no pointing out, okay, I've got asthma, do this, it will go. Having said that, I also want to point out that there are certain mudras which bring about immediate benefits, but they are exceptions. There are certain mudras there which, suppose a person is having a heart attack, okay, or an angina pain there, adopting that mudra will provide immediate relief. Or a person having vertigo issues, balance issues, a particular mudra being done there will give immediate relief there. Okay, there are certain, that sort of things there, but then that is not the order of the day. The order of the day is, okay, I have to deal with the causes there and then go slowly with the total package of practices. Yeah. Okay.
I think, sir, you have already answered to the next question also, but still I would like to announce this question. During my stay at one of the ashram, I was asked to do Agni Mudra regularly for weight loss, as it improves metabolism. I tried, but it didn't help me much. Have I gone wrong somewhere while practicing it? Also, in the same place, my friend was also asked to do Agni Mudra for cough and cold. I'm a bit confused how one mudra can be remedy for cough and cold and for the weight loss.
I don't think there is any confusion here, because cold and cough and obesity are not contraindicatory. It is not the case that, okay, if a person is obese, then he or she cannot have cold and cough. Okay, they can go together. So one practice can work for both of them. There is no contradiction at all. Okay. Having said that, the first line, it says, I tried, but it did not help me much. Okay. This is the point where I want to, just give some observations here. And those observations are, when you see I tried and it didn't work, okay, two things here. In yoga therapy, the effect of the yoga practices is mainly based upon the approach of the person who does the practice. If the person is doing a practice as a matter of trying the practice to see whether the effect is there or not, that person will never get the effects. The question is, with what conviction, what faith you enter into yoga practices for particular relief. If your conviction is very strong and you're very sure I'm going to get this result, you're bound to get this result. Because it is your approach which counts rather than the practice by itself. If you're very sure, very convinced, having a lot of faith in the practices, you will definitely get the benefits. This is not only for yoga. This is also when you go to an allopathic doctor. If you don't have faith in the doctor, the medicines given by the doctor will not work. You must have faith first. So there is no question of trying. Most of the time, what happens, unfortunately in yoga, as a person who has done a lot of therapy in yoga, I always find that yoga therapy is the refuge of the last resort. People try therapy in number of places. They will do this, they'll do that. When they don't get the result, then they say, okay, let me go to yoga and see whether it will benefit me or not. So their approach itself is a negative approach there. Okay, I've tried in so many places, it has not worked. So let me give one more try. No, if you give one more try, it will not work. You have to come there with the conviction, I will do it and get it. Because to point out the strength of yoga therapy, like today, yoga therapy is more and more open to scientific investigations. Okay. Most of the practice of yoga are subjected to research. And the point that I have to say is that none of the researchers so far have ever pointed out that what is written in a scripture is wrong. All the researchers are only saying, okay, what is written is correct. Okay, this benefit comes. Okay, how it comes? Okay, now we have done the research. It comes because of this. But no research has ever, refuted the claim made by a scripture of yoga or Hatha yoga textbook that, okay, if it says this practice will give this benefit, then, okay, research says it's not going to get. No, it is not the case at all. All researchers are only emphasizing and re-establishing that what the text maintains is correct. So do not come for trying. Go there with full conviction. Go there with conviction. And the last point that I want to say in this question is that one of the reasons why mudras are not popular or not popularly done is because they take time. Mudras will take time to bring the effects. Like other yoga practices, Patanjali says, Satu Dirgha Kala Nairantarya Satkara Sevitu Drudabhumi, that your practice has to be for a long period of time. So in yoga, it's not a fast food culture. You require time and patience. But having said that, once you understand the rationale, how the practice works, and the rationale is scientifically attestable. It is not just blind belief. Okay. Once you understand, yes, this is the reason, and this is how it works, then there is no way it cannot work. It may take time, but it will bring the results. Okay. And mudras take a little bit longer time. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, sir. And this is when the practice becomes sadhana, that it starts delivering the results.
Absolutely. That is why we don't talk in yoga practice. We talk about sadhana. Sadhana means complete involvement, not only at the time of the practice, but the rest of the day also.
Agreed, sir. So moving to the next question. Can a woman who is pregnant practice bandhas and mudras?
Again, this is a question. In fact, if you have to ring me up and speak to me personally, this will be a counseling question for me, professionally counseling, because can I pregnant? Yes. My answer to this with due reservations is to be very specific. Up to a certain stage of pregnancy, all yoga practices can be done. Okay. But after a certain stage, you have to be cautious what practice you can do, what practice you cannot do. First point. Okay. When it comes to mudras, hasta mudras, mana mudras, and number of mudras, there are certain mudras which will be beneficial during pregnancy. Okay. So that they will ensure the practice of yoga along with the mudras will ensure that the delivery is normal there. Okay. If you specifically ask about bandhas, then after a certain stage, maybe 3, 4, 5 months of pregnancy there, certain bandhas you will not be able to do. You're not supposed to do it because the pressure you put on the abdominal region may go reverse to the benefit that you're going to get. So don't. So my answer to this question is you must go to the teacher or the therapist, okay, at whatever stage you are in pregnancy and follow the instructions properly at that point of time. There is not a general question to be answered that can I do, can I not do? Answer is yes and no. Yes, okay, some mudras you can do, some mudras you cannot do. Some mudras you can do only to this extent, some mudras you cannot do that, So the answer is, mixed answer there. I will say yes, of course, you can, but then I'll have to say, okay, after certain stage, no, do it under, guidance properly. Yeah. Okay.
Now, sir, we come to the questions which we are receiving from the audience now.
Yeah.
And this is the question from Pratishruta. And she's asking, what is the difference between mudra and asana in terms of holding time, breath awareness, drishti, or awareness as a asana itself is called sthir sukha asana? Then where exactly mudra differ from asana?
Okay. So this question we will deal in detail in the workshop, but still, I want to answer this question. The difference between mudras and asanas, okay, is difference at all levels. The first difference comes in the definition itself. If you say sthira sukham asanam, posture which is stable and comfortable is an asana, or a posture which is stable because it is comfortable is an asana. Okay. A definition is given, an asana is a posture. Okay. And if I go a little bit into detail, asana definition comes from asasati, means to sit. And in Patanjali's yoga, the pointing is towards meditative asanas, sitting asanas there. Okay. But yes, other asanas are there, there are postures there. If you come to mudras, the definition itself says, muddam anandam dadati iti mudra. That which evokes or brings about ananda or bliss is mudra. Okay. Now, one may start wondering from where this bliss comes when you do the number of mudras that they are giving there. Okay. The answer is very clear. If you take your real nature as Satchit Ananda, you're blissful by nature. Okay. When you do mudras, you are transcending the layers of your personality from the physical, physiological, mental, psychological, and intuitive, and going to your spiritual essence there, which is by nature blissful. So mudras take you towards that to make you experience that ananda there. So muddam anandam dadati iti mudra. So very clear, the definition are totally different. Where asanas are postures, and then we can define postures in different ways, standing postures, kneeling postures, sitting postures, supine, prone, inverse, topsy-turvy, various postures there. Mudras can be defined, depending upon which part of the body is used, but mainly you can say voluntary neuromuscular seals or locks. So at certain points in the body, certain places, there is a lock which is happening. What is that lock doing? What is that seal doing? That seal or the lock arrests the flow of prana in a particular direction and redirects it in another direction. Even simple jnana mudra, which we do every time for pranayama practices. Okay. Now, what is the seal here? The palms of the hands are full of receptors, okay, where prana gets discharged easily. So all the time, from the palms of the hands, from the soles of the feet, from the eyes, from the ears, from the lips, from the nose, prana is discharged all the time. Now, the moment I touch one finger to another, now I have locked, I have closed the circuit. Now, what otherwise would have been discharged, I have arrested it and preserved it within the body there. Now, this happens whether you do Mool Bandha, whether you do Udyan Bandh, whether you do Jalandhar Bandh, any bandha that you do, it is a seal in a voluntary neuromuscular lock. Even if you do Mahamudra, whatever mudra you do, there is a direct connection to the flow of prana in the body. Where asanas can be considered as dealing more with the body and the senses, mudras can be understood as to deal more with the prana and the subtle aspects of the human being. So there is a major difference. Though one may say, okay, in suppose in Yoga Mudra we are adopting Vajrasana. Yes, we are adopting Vajrasana. But then Vajrasana is not Yoga Mudra. In Yoga Mudra, in Vajrasana, you are doing Yoga Mudra. Again, when you extend one leg in front and other leg close, you are doing Mahamudra. Okay, a Janu Shirsasana with single leg, one can say, okay, it's very close to that. But still, there is a binding of a seal or a lock applied to the flow of prana there. So there is a clear-cut difference between an asana and a mudra, though externally some of the mudras may look. See, mudra is not only seal, it's also an attitude. So if you take Hatha Pradipika, you'll say Viprit Karni is coming under a mudra. It is not coming under an asana there. Though you may practice it as an asana, but it is considered as a mudra because in addition to the meaning of the mudra as a seal, a mudra is also an attitude. And in Viprit Karni, you are reversing the attitude. What is the reversal? Your normal posture is head up, leg down. In Viprit Karni, you are putting the head down and leg up. So you are totally reversing. So Viprit Karni Mudra by definition includes Shirsasana, Sarvangasana. Because both of them have got the head down and the leg up. Yeah, it's an attitude of reversing. So Mudra has got lots of significances in addition to or further than asanas there. So it's quite different in their definitions, in their effects, and the manner of doing, yeah, in the techniques. Have I answered the question, Shivani?
Yes, sir. And I think she can get a more better understanding of it when she joins on 23rd and 24th.
Absolutely. I mean, we will go into this as far as possible. Still, 5 hours is also less time, but we'll try to make justice to that, you know.
Moving ahead to the next question by Namita, where she's asking, when do we exactly do Dhyan Bandh, during Antaranga or Bahiranga Kumbhaka?
This confusion, a genuine confusion, happens because in the textbooks, Udyan Bandh is done with Bahya Kumbhaka. But in the textbooks, Udyan Bandh is done as an exclusive practice. But when you do pranayam practices, then Udyan Bandh is done with Antar Kumbhaka. That is the difference, and that is why the confusion happens there. So Udyan Bandh in pranayam is done with Antar Kumbhaka, and you can do it as an independent. For example, if some people are doing Nauli, the Nauli is preceded by Udyan Bandh, and Nauli requires you to have Bahya Kumbhaka, then only you are able to churn the abdominal muscles there. So it is done in Bahya Kumbhaka there. But in pranayam, it is done in Antar Kumbhaka.
Our next question is, Mudras Bandhas can cure diabetes?
Again, a pointed question. I have to say yes, but although at the same time I will say they can cure provided you take care of your lifestyle also. Otherwise, you'll do all the practices which affect the sugar metabolism in the body, but on the other side, you will have a very sedentary lifestyle. You'll go on eating with no restrictions on your diet. Then no bandhas and mudras can cure diabetes, or no pranayam can cure, no asanas can cure. You have to take care of the other side also. And then there are certain practices. For example, now that we have talked about, a yoga mudra has got benevolent effects on diabetes. Because your fist that you're making in Vajrasana and keeping at the groin, it applies a direct pressure on the pancreas there. So if the insulin, which is not being discharged properly, by doing yoga mudra regularly, there is a pressure, release of pressure there. So it starts working. Little bit stimulation is there to the pancreatic glands, insulin is discharged, the sugar metabolism happens, and probably the diabetes can be taken care of. Again, I'm saying there is no one-to-one connection to each practice and its effect there. In yoga, therapy is always a package of practices. So whenever you talk about diabetes, you talk about what kriyas to be done, what asanas to be done, what pranayam to be done, what mudras to be done. So total package to be done in addition to lifestyle. Yeah.
And to lay the right foundation, friends, I would like you to be invited for the workshop on 23rd and 24th September by Dr. N Ganesh Rao on understanding Mudras and Bandhas. Moving ahead to the next question by Dipanch Agarwal. What should be the order of Mahabandh when practicing pranayam, Jalandhar, Udyan, and Moolbandh?
Again, this is something which we will be doing in on 23rd and 24th. But what is the order? Very clearly, in pranayam practices, we do Moolbandh first, then we do Jalandhar, then we do Udyan. This is the order. So you do Moolbandh, then do Purak, then do Jalandhar, Udyan. Okay. Release Udyan, release Jalandhar, breathe out, finally Moolbandh releases. This is the order very clearly. There's no two things about it. And exactly the opposite order is in Mahabandh. Okay. In Mahabandh, you breathe out and then do Jalandhar, Udyan, and Moolbandh. You will know why this order is very important in pranayam practices when we go to that in the 23rd, 24th session, because these bandhas bring about a change in the pressure in the body. So only when they are done at a particular time, the right time, the change in the pressure happens, which influences the movement of the prana. If the pressure changes is not there, the prana movement is not influenced. That is why it has to be done at the right time. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, which bandha is best for Kundalini awakening?
I mean, again, you are asking one-to-one question, but I think directly the Moolbandh at least stimulates the Kundalini, because the Kundalini is supposed to be situated at the Mooladhara chakra. And when you do Moolbandh, that is the place where you are tightening and releasing it, the perineal region. So direct effect is there. But having said that, again, you require all other practices also. Yeah.
Moving ahead to the next question. What mudra should be done to make Mooladhara chakra working properly?
Moolbandh, directly. Moolbandh should be practiced continuously, and we will see on the workshop day that what actually is Moolbandh, because there is a lot of confusion if you look at the text also, and the language of the text needs to be deciphered properly. Okay, and along with understanding Moolbandh, there are other practices that should be understood so that Moolbandh becomes very clearly understood. For example, Ashwini Mudra, Vajroli Mudra, these are all very closely associated to the perineum floor. So unless and until we understand the three, we will not be able to understand the Moolbandh properly. Yeah. Okay.
Friends, I'm so sorry that I'm skipping those sharp questions, but I would like to address the questions which gives a holistic picture of this concept. So
Yes.
we go back to the question by Dipanch Agrawal. And when one consider starting bandha practice in pranayam?
This is very, very subjective. Yeah. As a teacher of pranayam, when somebody comes to learn pranayam with me, I do not make them do bandhas. I'm giving you a personal example. Okay. It is not that you should follow me. Okay. But I'm just saying why it is so. Because normally, or I can put it in a nice manner, in the 23 or more thousand sessions that I have conducted of yoga, I've yet to come across a person who comes to me, says like, look, I want to do yoga for attaining to nirvana or kaivalya. Nobody has yet come. Okay. Every person who comes to you comes with certain problem, certain issues, and certain purpose for which, and the purpose is always either physical benefits or mental benefits. Some problem is there, health issue is there. This health issues can be taken care of without doing bandhas, because your breathing is so closely associated to the body and the mind. Like, I mean, all of you may be knowing, that, okay, our pranamaya kosha is between the annamaya kosha and the manomaya kosha. It is the bridge between the two koshas there. So once you take care of the pranamaya kosha, automatically your manomaya kosha and the annamaya kosha are taken care of. So the grossest representation of pranamaya kosha is the breathing, the most tangible representation. So the moment you cater to the breathing and make it proper, you will automatically find your body healthy and your mind healthy. And all your problems in life can be taken care of. When you are very serious and from a practitioner, you become a sadhak. From a normal practitioner, you become a spiritual practitioner and want to go deeper, then get into bandhas. Because then the bandhas become very interesting and fascinating, So bandhas normally not necessary, but if you're a serious practitioner, you first get your, purak, kumbhak, normal purak, kumbhak, rechak properly, and then go towards the bandhas there, So it is very subjective, but higher practitioners do go into bandha practices. Yeah. Okay.
Last question for this evening, and it's in Gaurashtakam, Vipreet Karni Mudra is specified for Pratyahara. So can you guide more about how Pratyahara one can achieve by practicing Vipreet Karni Mudra?
Again, a very pointed question. I will attempt to answer. One of the points of Vipreet Karni, is that it reverses the direction of the flow of energy in normal circumstances. With head up, leg down, there is a particular direction of the flow. When the legs go up and the head come down, automatically the direction of the flow of prana changes there. First point. The second point, more blood rushes to the head region. So your legs, your other senses are lacking blood supply. It is coming more and more to the upper part of the body there. So your focus or perspective in life changes there. If you talk about specifically Vipreet Karni Asana, I'm not talking about Sarvangasana or Shirsasana, Vipreet Karni Asana particularly, which also goes under the definition of Vipreet Karni Mudra. Vipreet Karni Asana, like Nadi Shodhan Kriya, equalizes the breathing through both the nostrils. This is a very, very unique effect, which we may not have noticed, but this is what Vipreet Karni Mudra does, Vipreet Karni Asana does. And if I take this as an example, if both the nostrils are breathing equally or going towards equalization of the breathing, then automatically the mind becomes harmonious. Then there is the possibility of pratyahara happening automatically, because now you're stable, you're not, distorted or imbalanced as far as the hemispheres of the brain are concerned. This is what I can point out in answers to the question that is asked.
And here we complete our 1 hour.
Oh, 1 hour has gone.
Yes.
Nice, very nice. It's gone very fast.
So thank you, sir, for an insightful session on Mudras and Bandhas. I totally understand as a seeker of authentic knowledge that this session is not enough. And friends, I would like to inform you that this month on 23rd September and 24th September, Dr. N Ganesh Rao is conducting an intensive workshop with Haloma Yoga on understanding Bandhas and Mudras. It's live on our website, and you will get the details on your email and in a while on WhatsApp message on your registered email. In this digital workshop, Dr. Rao will be teaching theoretical description of Bandhas and Mudras, conceptual clarification on Bandhas and Mudras, various types of Bandhas and Mudras, and demonstration and practice of few significant Bandhas and Mudras. We hope to have your confirmation, and we hope that this lays a strong foundation to your practice. Sir.
Thank you very much, Shivani.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you much, all of you who have taken the trouble of coming and attending. Hope to see you on 23rd and 24th. Yeah. Take care, all of you. Is it
Namaskar.
okay for me
Yes.
to go, Shivani?
Yes, sir, you can. Thank you so much, everyone.